just clicked on the latest episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, we're talking a little bit about our childhood and how we coped with the death of a very beloved character on television. Paula gives us an update on her diabetic dog. And we're talking about penises today. Yes, we are. And we also have some ugly and awkward moments of the week. So listen, thank you so much, share with your friends, and enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
I have used many elixirs.
Paula?
You do want to get laid in life, don't you?
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode 469. So last night, I'm just getting right into it. Last night, Daryl and I were watching TV or something, and he got up and he goes, oh man, he goes, the 80s channel on iHeartRadio is really crazy. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, yesterday I had to go do something. And he goes, when I got out of the car, it was this. And when I got into the car, it was Olivia Newton-John Heart Attack. And I was all, heart attack, Mr. Hooper had a heart attack. And he goes, what?
He didn't know that?
He didn't know the story. And so I said...
I'm almost positive we would have sung that in front of him before.
No. And so I said, oh, yeah. I go, when Paula, who really loved Mr. Hooper, died on Sesame Street, we broke the news to her by singing the song to her. He goes, wait a minute. Back up. I've never heard this story. Have you ever told me this? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And he goes, well, explain. I said, all right.
He gets so excited when there's new knowledge because he thinks he knows you, like everything. But when a new little nest egg comes out, he just pulls up the popcorn and sits down. He's like, tell me.
He's like, tell me everything. And he's got like his little hands under his chin. He's like, tell me everything.
He's like rubbing hand sanitizer on his hands like he's walking up to you on the club like, hey, baby, tell me what's going on.
So I said, all right. And I'm casual because I'm like, this is like such a small thing because we, so long ago. But I said, well,
it really
Paula,
wasn't that big of a deal.
It wasn't. I said, well, Paula, we were a very big Sesame Street home from when I was little all the way up till, now even I'll peek in on it.
Well, because it was the only acceptable television that we could watch.
It was educational. Right. So our marathon every day was Sesame Street, Electric Company, which was a little dicey for our parents. And then Mr. Rogers.
Yes, and then as we got older, that creep reading Rainbow with Lamar Burton.
Butterfly in the sky.
God. Yes. What is it with that guy? He's
Lamar
so
Burton?
Weird. Well, later he went on not Star Wars, Star Trek.
Yes.
Oh, he's the one that wore the banana clip on his eye.
Yes, he did, which we copied many times. Anyway, so I said, all right. I go, anyway, we were a big Sesame Street family, and Paula was in love with Mr. Hooper. Not in a gross way, but she just loved Mr. Hooper. He was like a grandpa.
Gee, the male figure that I adored in my life that I never had.
All right.
That should have told someone something.
You would think. So he died. In real life, he had a heart attack, and Mom was so concerned on how to break the news to you. And so she's like, what are we going to do? She's going to be devastated. And she's like, she's a baby. How are we going to do this? And I'm like, well, first of all, they had a special episode of Mr. Hooper and how he died and how Sesame Street's super good about stuff like that.
She should have just let me watch that.
She did.
Oh, okay.
We all watched it because we were all crying. We were all very sad about it. And so you were like, wait, he died? And then I don't know who. I want to say I took credit for it, but it could have been anybody because there were 5 of us there. Somebody shrugged their shoulders and went to you and they went, heart attack. Mr. Hooper had a heart attack. And then everybody started singing it. And we did that. I mean, to this day, we'll be like, heart attack. Mr. Hooper had a heart attack. And Daryl is like, can't breathe, hysterical. And because I shrugged my shoulders and cocked my head to the side like he had a heart attack. And you liked it because it wasn't like we were, first of all, I mean, gallows humor since birth, right?
But we were making up songs about things and.
Oh, completely. Like if somebody was sad, somebody would walk in, usually Stephanie or me, na, 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 na. Like constantly giving some kind of soundtrack.
And then we'd like immediately move in front of a mirror and then we'd be like,
have you ever
like happy funny moments, pointing, like laughing, like you know. And then
at the end of movies or even shows, they used to do the screenshots of the dramatic times of the show that you just watched, and we used to.
I remember.
And then we would do the
last time I
cried. we would reenact those moments and do our own, like the Frozen, you know, the yelling, the argument.
Have like our hands crossed in our back to the person, and then put our hand on the person's shoulder, like, it's okay.
The loving embrace. We did that a lot. God damn, I forgot about that.
Victor and I were just talking yesterday. I said, you know those little flip cams that we have now?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we don't even use them more. I mean, now it's just all cell phones. But I'm like, if me and my sisters had flip cams when we were little, I said, the shit that we would have had on there would have been epic.
I mean, if we could have afforded one of those 30-pound VHS recording cameras, we would have had so much fun.
I'm like, we could have had our own, like, now we could have had our own YouTube channel just on old footage of the things that we did.
Absolutely. We would be famous for our craziness. They'd be like, look at the Gen Xers.
Actually, we could have had like multiple channels on our own channel, like, you know, the Ugly movies. Because, you know, we made movies all the time.
Plays,
like, you know,
movies, shows, cooking demonstrations.
The dance collection, you know.
Paula's song and dance era.
Stuffed animal gymnastics.
Oh, yeah, forever. Ladies and gentlemen, the fling flong, everyone.
Oh, it looks like he's going to attempt the triple fling flong fling.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, this has never been done. This has never been done before. If he nails this, it is an Olympic gold for the country.
It's an automatic 10.
And we played it hard too. Anyway, so I'm telling him this, and he goes, "You know what makes me laugh the hardest?" I go, "What?" He goes, "That this is completely normal, and you don't understand how unusual it is that you did that." I said, "It's not unusual, okay? People do shit like that all the time with their siblings. You just don't know about it."
I don't know.
I would hope so. He got a thrill. Talk about random. He's like, then the Olivia Newton-John. I'm like, oh, Mr. Hooper had a heart attack song? He's like, what? It was really funny.
Yeah, I finally subscribed. Well, I partially subscribed to the iHeartRadio, the one where you had endless skips. But then I wanted to start making my own playlist, and I had to upgrade to the next one. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going all the way. So
yeah, we have that. I love it.
Now I made my own play. Oh my God, I can't stop. Now
Paula,
I have like a
so
shower.
many.
I have like a shower playlist.
Yep.
I have like a relaxing playlist. But of course, my relaxing playlist is not like Enya or anything like that. It's like fucking, I don't know, Casey Musgraves and the Bee Gees, and like it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I have so many playlists. Like the other day, I went through a George Strait thing, and I just couldn't stop listening to George Strait, and I just love Marina Del Rey so much. That song, it's like my favorite. The song Marina Del Rey.
Oh God, I thought you just said Lana Del Rey. I'm like, I thought we just talked about this.
No, we hate her, remember?
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm like, when did you flip? It's been like 3 days.
Yeah, I have several. I have a late night playlist. I have my rock playlist. I have yacht rock and rum days.
Oh, really?
I have a girl bye bitch playlist. I have my country playlist. I have a familia playlist.
Oh.
I have my Sparky Christmas playlist for the holidays. I have my Gen X. I have so many. They're my favorite. I make them all the time. Like, you know what I don't have? I do not have a playlist for Linda Ronstadt. And then I'll create, you know, some crazy playlist, and then I'll go, I hate this. Why did I make this, and delete it and start fresh?
Like, I was thinking about last night making like a PMS playlist, but I'm like, why am I going to do that? That's just an awful idea.
Well, you want to emotionally cut sometimes, and you don't want to have to think about it.
Yeah, but I was already crying yesterday, and I'm like, why do I want to cry more? I did more crying last night, by the way. And I was just like, I need to stop this nonsense.
I feel like you're PMSing a lot lately.
Well, you know, it's just been... It's been a rough couple months, Jamie.
Paula,
I realized that. And I was
my God.
This whole coronavirus, the kids being home, plus the online schooling and and I'm like, someone suggested to me, they're just like, have you ever considered just taking a weekend by yourself?
That's
and
hilarious.
I'm like, what am I going to do? And they're like, no.
That doesn't really relieve anything.
Well, no, but it just gives you time like alone to just like not be in a provoked state, I guess is what it is.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's kind of like the first weekend you leave the baby somewhere. Like you actually you always think you're going to go out of town and have this romantic weekend, and all you do is sleep. You just sleep the whole time. Yes. And you're just like, I can't believe we just slept for 18 hours straight. And like you wind up not even having sex the whole weekend. You just all we did was get room service and sleep.
It's like, I didn't realize how tired we were. All right, moving on quickly. Let's discuss your sweet dog, Bo, because we've been trying to talk about this for like a month.
I know.
Give us the rundown and what's going on today.
Okay, so as I mentioned, or maybe I haven't, Bo got diagnosed with diabetes probably like 2-3 months ago.
Okay.
And so probably about 2 weeks ago, he was having a day where he wasn't feeling well. He was very tired, laying around, and then he started throwing up. And so I'm just like, well, maybe he ate something he didn't like, or we really couldn't figure it out. Okay. But he kept throwing up, and it got to the point where it was just like the bile. And I'm just like, this isn't good. And so we decided to take him to the vet, and they said he's in full blown ketoacidosis. And so basically what had happened is that he was so maxed out on his sugar levels that his body was now burning fat to create sugar. And what that does is it causes something called ketones to go into his bloodstream, and that can ultimately kill him.
Yes.
And I said, well, how bad is it? And they said, our range stops at 160, and he maxed out at 160.
Oh, no.
And so we're like, oh, my God. They're just like, it doesn't look really well for him. So they're like, what we'd like to do is keep him for, the next 2 days to see if we can flush the system, get him on a constant insulin, pump drip thing, and blah, blah, blah. And so we're like, okay. And she's like, you're looking between $3,000 to $5,000. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I just is like, oh my gosh, no one should have to be faced with that kind of, information. And so I'm like, well, I said, what if we just do this? I'm like, what if we just do 24 hours? And if you see significant improvement, I said, then we'll talk about the next 24 hours after that.
Right. Just take it one day at a time.
I said, but if he's not improving, because when it's that bad, sometimes it's irreversible.
Right.
I said, if he's not improving, then we'll talk about other options. It was really bad. I mean, we thought we were going to have to put him down.
I know. I remember you messaged me at midnight saying you were at the vet going, we may have to say goodbye to Bo tonight.
Yeah.
I was so sad for you. I just was like, I don't even know what to say because, right. You don't want it to be because you can't afford it, right? You don't want it to be that's the reason why you're putting the dog down, Well,
right.
Even though it's very common, you'd hate to make that decision.
Well, I mean, if it had been something like a cancer or something, and then they were going to do like a surgery and only to find out it might come back or something like that, that's different,
Yeah.
Or,
yes.
But I mean, if this was just something that needed to get flushed and he just needed time and after, 12 hours or something, he was showing improvement, like significant improvement, then we would have figured it out.
Right.
So the next day they called and they said he still had ketones, but he looked like he was feeling a lot better. So we're like, okay, just keep at it, let us know in the next 6 hours. So after that, the next doctor on call came back and he's just like, he looks like he's feeling great. He's eating food. We're thinking of taking him off the insulin pump and just starting to do injections. And his ketones are way down, but still there. They won't release him until he has 0. Okay. And he says, if tonight goes well, he's like, I think you can probably pick him up in the morning. I'm like, okay, great. And so the next morning they called me at 6 a.m., of course. Because, they're doctors. They don't have a concept
They
of
don't
time.
sleep.
Well, he was the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. doctor.
Oh, okay.
And so he called me and he's just like, Bo has 0 ketones. He's taking injections. He's eating food. He's doing great. He's like, so you can come pick him up. And I'm like, fantastic.
That's wonderful.
By that point, we had conglomerated like every credit card we had.
Oh, I know.
Get the balance. It was around $1,900. So
that's really good.
For 2 days in the hospital with everything they did. Actually, they only charged us for 1.5 days.
That's
so
nice.
That wasn't
That's
that
really
bad. Oh, I didn't think, especially on emergency.
I don't think I agree with you. Considering that they told you $5,000, it's like Jesus.
Yes,
1,900 is a cakewalk.
So ultimately, I'm like, well, what caused this? I'm like, did we do something wrong? I said, I know I missed a couple shots. And so he's like, no, he's like, it wasn't that. He said, your last veterinarian prescribed something called Temeral P. He says it's a mild steroid. He says giving steroids to a diabetic dog is like an absolute no-no. And he says, although it's mild, he says and he did it for his skin condition because Bo has terrible skin.
Right.
He says, although it's mild, he says he really should have no steroids at all.
So, I mean, are you going back to that vet?
No.
Okay.
Which is awkward because that vet is, they're super nice people. Their daughter goes to Olivia's school. The wife of that practice is her Girl Scout troop leader.
Oh dear. Well, you know what though? There's nothing. That's the thing about medical stuff or doctor stuff. It's like, look, we're going to someone that's a little more convenient. Whatever. La la la. You don't have to go into like, you almost killed my dog.
No, but I do want to let them know, like, hey, this medication you prescribed almost killed him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't done anything because I don't want to have like a bad like attitude about it. But I'm still really angry.
Clearly. And you should, by the way. And you're like, you're trying to like temper it because you unfortunately are going to have to see these people for like 3 more years at least.
Right.
So, and the mom with the Girl Scout stuff and all that. Ugh.
But the thing is like, Victor, he's like, gosh, they're just so nice. I said, but you know what? I'm like, that's the hard part is like, someone could be really nice, but be really terrible at what they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiots out there that are nice.
I'm like, you don't not fire someone because they're nice. You don't fire them, or you fire them because they're incompetent at their job.
That's correct. And which is exactly what you're doing.
Those are the people that actually thank you when you fire them because they're so nice. You know what I mean?
They're like, okay, thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. I know. Well, so today Bo is doing better.
He's so happy and spunky now. He's lost a ton of weight.
Good for him.
I mean, when I start playing with the kids now, messing around with them, he runs up and he starts barking and trying to protect them now.
Oh, so he really felt like shit for a while.
When people come to the door, he runs up and he starts barking. And, they were trying to kill a cat that was on top of the fence that was just staring at them. And they're just like, motherfucker, get down!
That's
Get off our lawn! And so, I mean, he's just all over the place now.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
It's almost like he's a puppy, it seems like. So,
well, I am so happy to hear that. There's been this wave of people on social media who are losing their elderly pets. Like 4 or 5 in the last couple of weeks. It's crazy. I feel like I'm constantly saying, good boy, good girl, and I'm so sorry, like so much. It's insane.
I'm trying to avoid bad news. So if it looks like it might be something sad, I don't look at it. Although I was very happy to see Katy Perry looking absolutely hideous the other day. So
I saw that. I'm like, what is she doing?
I looked at that bathing suit and I'm like, I am almost positive Allison had a bedspread that looked just like that.
Oh, yeah. Green with strawberries.
Or were they strawberries or roses? Or I don't know what they were.
It was a white background quilt. And the pattern was red strawberries and then the strawberry, like, viney leaves.
Yeah, something like that.
It was really
I looked
cute.
at that and I'm like, I think Allison had a bedspread just like that. But I'm
Pretty
like, why is she
sure.
where do you even get something like that? Like a thrift store? I mean, I don't even think you could buy something like that.
Well, maybe you can. I don't know. It's
probably
not,
borrowed it from Lana Del Rey.
It really wasn't a good look for her. And I'm not a big fan of women walking around in bathing suits in public without a short or a wrap. I don't know. It seemed weird to me. I don't know.
Well, and honestly, it looked really large because, I mean, it did nothing to hold anything in. I mean, her tits completely disappeared.
Yeah, it was a weird look for her. And then I don't like frump anyway, in any way, shape, or form. So
yeah, I don't like the women who are just like, well, I'm pregnant now, so I can do whatever gain 80 pounds and eat chocolate cake and walk around and,
and look like shit.
Sheets.
There are women, I don't know if it's still like this today, but I definitely knew some women, once they got married, they're like, well, no reason to try anymore. And I'm just like, wow, really? And it's like, okay.
I'm like, you do want to get laid in life, don't you? Or do some women just not care? I remember that being a thing where, like, there are women who don't want to have sex. Why?
It's like the best part about being in a relationship is you get to have sex whenever you want. Why would that be the thing to go? It's so crazy.
I know why there were periods in my first marriage, I know exactly why I didn't want to have sex. But my second, there were periods where I know why I didn't want to have sex. But for the remainder, I didn't have an issue with it. Like, I was like, yeah, cool.
I don't know who says it, but they do say that when couples are falling apart and they ultimately are going to get divorced, the very last thing to go is sex.
I would think that'd be the first.
No, it's the last thing to go because, everybody has the need, right? I mean, it's still a physical urge. And
well, I was reading like an article the other day. It says like 10 signs a couple is about to get divorced. And one of them was like, you enjoy doing your individual hobbies better than spending time together or something like that. And I'm like, funny. That's terrible.
It is terrible.
Well, and I'm like, first of all, who is this woman that has individual hobbies? I'd like to meet her.
What are you doing exactly? There was something that I read the other day that I wanted to share with you because I don't know about you, but I do know. We have both experienced premature ejaculation in our sex lives in the past.
I don't even think it was... I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was coming out before he even inserted it.
Oh my God. So
like he was putting it in and then he already had to pause. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, that doesn't even happen. It's like, he had to do the initial like, whoa. And I'm just like, you are still entering me. Like, what do you mean, whoa?
I hate it. Okay. So last year at the Consumer Electronics Show, a man, and I can't remember his name, he was there with his company. They have invented a Band-Aid for men that promises to fix premature ejaculation. It's called the Taint Band-Aid.
What does the taint have to do with anything?
The Taint Band-Aid is a battery connected to electrodes designed to send mild electrical impulses to whatever area of the flesh it's attached to. It's designed to stimulate and confuse the nervous system. In short, no pun intended. The Taint Band-Aid is an innovation designed to help men who suffer from premature ejaculation. The root cause of it, nobody really knows. Which I don't, Taint Band-Aid is a device designed for 2 players. It can be worn only by a man, but it's designed to be controlled by a sexual partner. Using a partner to turn the device on or off via app on a phone or a Fitbit. So apparently there is a way to turn down the sensitivity and the transmission of these signals that come through this battery operated. So there will be some kind of app or they'll utilize the Fitbit so that the partner can turn the device on and off. He said the device will also have a quote unquote volume control that'll let the partners adjust the sensitivity. Now, the research does it work? The creator said he's done tests with 5 different men who suffered from premature ejaculation. All 5 reported back positively. Quote unquote, subjectively, they all said there was an impact. It is a one-use device. Shocking. A long-term multi-use version could be possible, but the materials need to be sturdier and there's an issue of cleanliness. So the hope is to have the device on the market by mid-2021. They expect the Taint Band-Aid to sell for $25, saying that men who are desperate for a result will pay it. It's not like a Band-Aid where it rips the hair out, however. It doesn't have an adhesive. It uses a gel that also serves as a conductor for the electrical neurons.
So are they intending as selling this as a medical device or a sexual device?
Sexual device.
Okay.
And I saw a picture of it. And what it looks like is, those really big rectangular Band-Aids that you buy for big, like maybe you had stitches or whatever. And so you put it's big enough to be on the taint. And the way they had it on the model was it doesn't go from balls to anus. It goes from thigh to thigh. So it goes that way on the taint. And then they did show how it worked on someone's arm, not on their actual taint, because no one wants to see that. Mm-hmm. But apparently, 5 whole men say there was some kind of positive impact. I have used many elixirs, many types of things to prevent premature ejaculation, not in my current relationship, but in the past. Nothing works. Nothing works.
Okay. You know the real use of that, right?
Masturbating.
No. This taint Band-Aid.
What is it?
It's S&M.
You think?
Yes.
Because it's not, the guy tried it. He goes, I barely felt anything.
Yeah. What did you think he was going to do? You know, turn it up to full blast and be like, fuck, that hurts.
Well, I don't know, but I mean.
And why would it be controlled by a partner?
I thought that too.
It's because if you're out at a party and he's talking to some friends and all of a sudden you have it on full blast and then you zap him in the dick and he has to not move or make a sound. Some people find that very exciting.
I see. Would you do it?
Not to another person, no, but they have something very similar where there's a pair of panties where you put in a little bullet and then the guy has a remote control.
Yes, I have definitely heard of those. I think Daryl would totally do that to me if I let him.
I know many men who want to do that.
Yes, they find that very titillating.
Which I think I'm just like the occasional vibration would just be annoying to me, but you know I'd be like, ooh, baby, yeah, sure.
So you don't think that there's any way that this could work for someone who can't continue, like that has to say whoa after 3 seconds?
If I believed that, I would have tested more than 5 people.
Right? When he said 5 whole people, I'm like, did you make this in your garage and have your friends try?
No, the intent is to cause harm. You know, basically.
Sexual
harm. What was that scene? Was it Ghostbusters? Remember in the beginning where the girl kept guessing the cards, even if they were wrong, but he's like, you're right. And then the guy's just like, triangle. He's like, wrong. He's like,
oh, yes, I remember.
It's like that.
Okay. Well, anyway, I look forward to seeing this hit the market. I want to know if anyone uses one. I'm dying to know. No one's going to tell us, but I want to know.
I mean, I could be guessing, but when you were describing it, I'm like, this is not to stop premature ejaculation.
Well, I mean,
did you really think that's what it was for?
I just read the article. I saw the product. And went, well, I mean, listen, men are desperate to do anything with their dick. They'll do anything to it. And so I figured maybe, I mean, listen, Paula, I have read stories of men who've injected Vaseline into their penis to make it bigger. So this is nothing compared to what men will do to be sexually satisfying. So, you know, maybe, but you're right. I mean, it absolutely could be used for that. I mean, I could ask Daryl if I could buy him one and see, but I mean, he doesn't have that problem. That's the thing.
What if you just bought it and gave it to him as like a present?
He'd be like, what the fuck is this? What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I just thought, you know, we've been married a long time and maybe we should venture out and try new things.
Oh, God.
He'd be like, then you put that on your vag and I'll zap you.
You know what? This is how adventurous Daryl is. He'll do anything to me. Anything. The sky's the limit. But when it comes to him, it's like, well, now, wait a minute. Let's think about this for a moment.
Why are guys always such delicate flowers? But, you know, somehow they think we're made of steel.
I don't know. They're just, well, you have so many
I've got a baseball hat here. I've got a baseball bat. Do you mind if I shove that up your ass and have it come out your throat?
It'll be so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll just hold you up and then hit a baseball. Home run!
Yeah, I know.
And then scream and cheer for me, like I'm like your man. Yeah, gross. Sure, okay.
All right, so on that same note about penises, we got an incredible letter from a listener last week
about a penis.
Yes, and I just want Susan to know. I'm sorry. I was gagging on the penis.
Shut your flapping lips.
You rock. So I edited this for length because it was quite a lengthy letter. So I edited for time, but the premise of the letter is intact. So I just want Susan to know that when she reads it, going, I wrote more than that, and I know you did, but it was lengthy, and we have a limited time. So here we go. Hi, Jamie and Paula. I've been listening to some of your podcasts, and I've loved every one of them I've listened to so far. They are fun as well as educational and very well presented. Some of your podcasts literally get me laughing out loud. Thank you both so much for being so awesome. Thank you for thinking we're so presented and that we're What are we? Educational. I love it.
Actually, I was going to say educational. I wouldn't necessarily follow anything we say for like gospel. Like,
Hey, the women's issues.
You might get hurt.
Hey, the sexual and the women's issues, they're very educational. I mean, and we fact check our shit before we start talking about stuff like that.
But, at your own discretion when it comes to any anal play. Or
consult your doctors.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Your episode regarding dick pics raised my interest as receiving the pics is the story of my life on social media. I get many of these sent to me on Tinder. I could make a coffee table book full of them, and don't even get me started on Snapchat.
That is such a good idea.
I'm a married woman, and I get dick pics on Snapchat. It's insane.
No, I'm just saying a coffee table book of dick pics.
Oh, for real. Absolutely. She should definitely do it. Definitely.
I love that.
Okay, so I have a story to share about how I and several other women at work got a colleague back who sent out a dick pic. A guy I used to work with. I know, Paul, there's so many red flags on this, but I'm reading it anyway because we can judge afterwards. A guy I used to work with used to always brag about having a big penis. He always looked for an opportunity to talk about how big he was and how so many women were after him because of it. He once said that he had a 10-incher. This all changed when he sent me a dick pic. It was a close-up of his penis with a ruler right next to it so I could see exactly how long it was fully erect. I don't know what he was thinking, but it wasn't anything to boast about. It looked to be just over 5.5 inches long.
You know what? Someone who's constantly talking about it, I'd be like, all right, let's go. I'd be like, come with me. I'd be like, let's go in the alley, drop trow. I want to see it.
I want to see it.
Do it now. Now or never.
He sent me a message around 15 minutes later begging me not to show it to anyone else and saying that he was so sorry. But I'd already sent it to every single one of my female friends by then. It was
I'd be like, oops, sorry.
It was no accident that he sent it to me, as I found out that he'd also sent it to someone else with the same quote unquote apology to her about 15 minutes later. From then on, we kept on making jokes at work loudly by measuring various items in the office with a ruler and saying things like, damn, the thing's smaller than I expected. It doesn't even measure 6 inches. Followed by a lot of laughter. He turned beet red constantly.
This says it's 5.5 inches. Oh, so it's 9 inches then.
Right. Exactly. Men need to understand that if they send unsolicited dick pics, then it's open season for us to laugh at it as well as criticize and judge it. Telling them that it's small seems to work out really well in getting them to stop, by the way. A little tip. The dick pic guy left 2 weeks later, probably through embarrassment. Our boss did not understand what was going on until after he left. We told her, and she had a really good laugh and said that it served him right. How could we carry on working normally after going through all of that with him? Thank you both so much again for your awesome podcast, and I hope that my story gives you a good laugh. Susan. And because she's a kick-ass listener, she sent us the photo.
Are you going to send it to me?
Right now.
Where? That is not... No.
Paula, he included his balls. Come on. Look at where he put it.
Okay, now wait a minute. He dropped that ruler down quite a bit.
Yes. Look at where it starts. It starts under his taint. Come on. That ain't 5 inches.
I mean, that's barely even big enough to show a vein.
And here, her friend.
And you know what? Mm-hmm. The ruler is like sideways. So
Paula,
I mean, he could be like slanting it a little bit to make it look appear big. That is Jamie, that's a small penis.
It's a 4-incher, Paula.
I mean, I'll give him props for a little girth, but
well, first of all, if we're really going to judge a penis, which we have to, it is hold on. It is a nicely shaped penis, but it is not 10 inches, nor is it even 5 inches. Her friend is a graphic artist in honor of Cause Penis, did this.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Very small, tiny, still small.
Your balls. I might try. You know what I can't figure out is why is it so shiny?
Oh,
did he buff it before he took the picture?
I was gonna say that,
and that is really straight. That's unusually straight. Men's penises are not that straight, Jamie.
And he's not. I don't see. The thing is there's a shadow.
Even the shadow is tilted.
I know. Did he well? Is there some kind of photoshopping going on? I'm confused by the lights. There's a lot going on here. that I'm really struggling with as far as, I mean, I would not, I would be disappointed is all I'm saying. I would be disappointed.
I keep saying to myself, I wish I could just see it larger, but I mean, I guess
this is it, Paula.
It gets.
This is all it is. This is it. This is it. So anyway, Susan.
I don't know, Jamie. I mean, even look at the hole. It just looks like
it is. First of all, how do
manufactured.
It does, but it's not. I mean, that's it. Okay, props to no dirty clothes in the background. Lighting is good. I think the flash is what's giving it shiny, making the head shiny.
How did he get that close to the wall? Where are his legs?
I don't think that it is a wall. That could be a counter.
Do you think
that could be a counter?
Or where are his legs?
Well, I think there's a piece of paper under it. And I think
he put a piece of paper behind his wiener?
Yes. I think he put a piece of paper like on a counter and then leaned over and did it.
Okay, this is a lot of work for
a
picture.
He spent a lot of time on this.
I mean, this is like Olin Mills quality. Most guys just, they don't even take their pants off. They just pull down their pants. You see a skid mark in their underwear and like dirty clothes everywhere. And they're like, you like this? And you're like, no, I don't.
Oh, okay, wait, real quick.
But if I got this, I almost might be like, dude, are you in the right section? This is like meant for women.
Yeah, right. Interestingly,
I mean, this is pretty clean shit.
Here's what's funny. So, this is okay. Susan, thank you so much. This is literally like top 10 letters we've ever received. By the way, thank you for the graphics.
And that pubic hair at the base, that would be itchy.
Well, it's outgrown manscaping. I mean, he obviously shaved at some point and decided to let it grow back because he wasn't getting any.
I just keep thinking how it would be like poking your labia and stuff.
Yeah, because he let it go. Because no one's fucking a 4-inch dick, Paula. I mean, come on.
But that's just the thing. You don't know until you're at that point.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, unless you do what I do, which is the second date BJ. And so,
well, that is true. Second, God, you know what? I'm
not going to do that anymore.
No, I know.
I'm just saying. But the thing is you and I have discussed this before. Guys with big dicks, they don't talk about it.
They do not. So I told you the first time Daryl and I had relations, I was pleasantly surprised.
It doesn't. It just never comes up.
No, they don't talk about it.
It doesn't come up in conversation.
Nope.
They don't talk about. Well, I mean, a real gentleman just doesn't discuss it at all.
Well, we're running out of time, so I don't know. Do you have an ugly and awkward moment?
I do, but if you don't want to do them, we don't have to. Okay.
No, we're doing it.
Olivia and I were at Walmart buying just like some basics. Well, we thought we were buying basic stuff, but unfortunately they had nothing. So we were going to try and get some. I was just trying to find 409 for God's sakes. And they didn't even have that. And we needed paper towels. And of course they didn't have that either. So we were in some section, and for some reason, Walmart must keep their temperature at like 85 degrees because I was like sweating my boobs off. Gross. And I did not have a ponytail. I was just like, okay, they've got to have a wayward rubber band around here, because I mean, they always have those commercial horrible rubber bands. And I could not find a damn thing. So we walked past the shoe section and I saw these little baby shoes, and they were like this elastic string was tied around them and attached to the part that they hang the shoes on. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, if I could just cut that off there and then tie it back in a knot, I'm like, I can use that as a rubber band. So Victor bought me this pocket knife. And so I keep it in my purse. And so I took out my pocket knife, I cut the string off, and then made it back into a rubber band. Well, the problem with this pocket knife is I can never figure out how to close it, because it's not the kind that has like the silver notch in the back and then you fold it back down.
Yeah.
It's like this kind where you like squeeze it a little bit in the middle and then it collapses. And I can never figure it out. And I'm like, why couldn't you just get me a regular one,
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there for like 20 minutes trying to figure out how to close this stupid thing. Of course, working up a sweat even more. And so I'm just like, all right, this is stupid. I'm like, well, maybe I could just put it in my purse, because I just had my little wristlet. I put it in there and then I sliced a hole in the side. I'm like, all right, this is
Jesus.
So I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll go over to like the fish and game section and I'm sure they'll know how to close this. So I go over to the fish and game section. There's like a huge fat line because I'm just like, what is this? What is everyone doing? Going fishing? I'm like, I go over to like where like the bait and lures are, and there's this nice young man there. So I was just like, excuse me, sir. And he's just like, yes. And I said, this is kind of awkward. I said, but I can't seem to close my pocket knife. I said, would you mind trying to close it for me?
Oh my God.
Like, sure. And so he looked at it and he's like, oh yeah. And so he just like closed it right away. I'm like, thank you. And he's just like, wow, this is a really nice pocket knife. He's like, well, where'd you get it? I'm like, I don't know. It was a gift. And he's like, I don't think I've seen like the one. He was like checking it out. And he's like, what's the brand? And I'm like, I don't know, My friend's just like, he was hitting on you. And I'm just like, what makes you say that? He's like, he closed it right away, but then asked you what it was, said he'd never seen it before. And he's all, that's a really popular knife.
Oh.
I'm like, why? Why would a guy hit on me, closing a pocket knife?
God.
I'm like, what's wrong with you? He's all, because he's a guy. I'm like, guys are stupid.
Guys are
just stupid. So
that's really
anyways,
funny.
I figured out what I was doing wrong. I was stretching it the wrong way.
Oh, what a shock. You know what? I have a pocket knife as well, and I can never shut that thing. I hate it. I'm just not good at it. It's like a weird squeeze thing. I don't know.
Well, you're supposed to push it out, I guess, instead of pushing it in. And I kept thinking I had to push it in. Mm-hmm. And so, at one point I was literally like pushing it against the cart, thinking like I wasn't strong enough. And then I'm like,
your finger off.
Well, common sense kicked in like after 5 seconds. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, if this thing slips, I'm probably going to like, lacerate my heart or something like that.
You will.
So
yeah,
it's really sharp.
Yes,
so.
You have to be careful with those things. Well, that is very awkward. And you got a little pickup line, but the guy works at Walmart, so
Well, no, actually he was just a customer. So.
Oh, was he cute?
I don't know. He was young.
Oh, yeah, but you like him young.
Yeah, but when I say young, he probably was like 30. So I don't know.
Oh, well, all right.
I just picked the first person I saw. I wasn't paying attention. I needed help. I didn't. I looked like garbage. I had my hair up in an elastic rubber band ponytail I made from the shoe department.
He's probably like, you know what?
He goes, I was wearing a Foo Fighters t-shirt with no bra, and I had no makeup on. So
Paula, I'm embarrassed for you.
I was embarrassed for myself. I wasn't intending on interacting with anyone. Trust me.
Yes. All right. Well, mine's not as awkward. You definitely win because you included others in yours. But I have been really clumsy lately. And I go through phases, we all do, where you're just more clumsier than others. And it was one of those things where I kept hitting like my hand on like doorways. And I hate that so much.
Yeah.
I had walked into my bedroom to do something and I had smacked my knuckles on the door walking into my own fucking bedroom. And I was mad about it. So I sat down a little hard, rough, and I was going to cross my legs and I missed, and my ankle hit my shin so hard that I was angry at myself, and the size of the bruise, it's like a saucer, and I said that is going to hurt.
You have a bruise?
Oh hell yeah. It was hard. I'm like, I could have broken my own ankle. Like, what was I doing? Because I was so angry that I sat down.
Okay, Anderson Silva.
Jesus, I know exactly. I broke my own tibula. So anyway, that was me. And I was like, well, you know what I hate also is when you do something awkward and there's proof of it for a while.
What'd you do? Nothing.
None of your business. So anyway, that was mine. But yours
that
is way
just
better.
reminds us of when we used to wrestle or fight, because we were all skin and bones when we used to wrestle and fight. I can't tell you how many times we would clank our ankles or knees or shins together.
Yeah. When I watch the UFC and I see them check a leg kick, the PTSD of our childhood comes roaring back. I'm like, that hurts so fucking much. Like, so hard.
That would make me so mad. I'd be like, God damn it!
Oh my God. If somebody smacks me with their
you
leg,
would probably see me bite my tongue and point.
it would be one of those things. If somebody hit me in the leg with their leg and like they went smack and it makes that really loud snap sound, I'd be like, and I would like just go in for the takedown, just pummel them. It'd be like, I'd be undefeated. Like, don't do leg kicks, Jesus.
Anyway. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Father's Day is just around the corner. You know it's going to be good because moms are planning it.
Yes.
So check out Amazon. Go to uglytruth.com. Click on the Amazon button. Or once you've clicked on it, then you can bookmark that. And then you just click on it from wherever it is that you bookmarked it. and shop and see what's good for dad this year. Good old Pops. And go to lipandclip.com, get yourself some makeup. The season is changing, as I mentioned before. Time to get your darker shades on. Well, your face shades, but lighter lipsticks, eyeliners, eyeshadows. Other than that, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Stay cool, get laid in the shade, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.